Do it.
Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to episode 3 of this week's Galilee podcast. Today is the wives edition, and we are trying to do it live on Facebook, so hopefully people can get that as well. But don't worry, we're recording it, and so we'll share it. But Nick and I are here with our lovely ladies, April and Abby. So we're going to talk a little bit about family life in quarantine. So that's kind of our theme for today. So real quick, how are you guys? Why don't you tell everybody how everybody is doing in the Vipperman home, and give us an update there.
I'm just hoping she's going to let me go outside at some point, man. It's been a long 5 weeks being inside this long. It's been tough.
Nick can't sit still. This is hard for him to try to be still at all. And he goes to Kroger a lot, which is like the danger zone. So
Right.
I just hold my breath. That's safe, right?
Yeah.
Breath the whole time.
Yeah. I can see both of us are at the point where we need haircuts, so we're just throwing our hats on our heads.
Just have the hat, man. Just rock the hat. I never really wear a hat, but I do right now. I haven't had a haircut for 4 or 5 weeks. So.
I know. April and I have been talking about it. I've been like secretly showing her videos of haircutting videos, like, here's maybe how you could do this.
Yeah. Are you going to try it, April?
When we lived in Florida before Addison was born, we would sit in the garage and I would cut his hair. But I mean, one time it was a little bit too short, and so I don't think we've done it since then.
You burned that bridge.
Oh, that's nice though.
I was saying we're saying we should get Brian to do a tutorial video, because he does like their entire house. So.
Oh wow.
Doesn't he cut his own hair?
Yes, he cuts his own hair, and he does Max and all of them.
Right. Yeah, that'd be tough.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's good. But yeah, we're good. We're holding up fine. It's been good.
Yeah, we've been good too, man. Settling into routines, and I think by now we've got it down. So, but what have you guys been doing? What's kind of like a daily life for the Vippermans during quarantine?
I'll let you answer that.
Well, it depends on the day. Like if you guys feel like you have the routine like settled in and stuff, I don't feel like we necessarily do. We generally, pretty much everybody gets up and gets going. The kids want to knock out school so that they can be free. But Gus is older, so he wants to sleep in, and then I'm trying to sort out, does he need to get up because that's what you do as a functioning person, you get up. But then he's 14 and he's going to do that forever. And his body clock, I know, as a teen is shifted right now, or is in the process of shifting to wanting to be up later and sleep in. So I've tried to be a little bit more flexible with it. At first I was like, everybody's going to get up and it'll be a little later than a school day, but it's still going to be early so that you can brush your teeth and make your bed and I still want them to do that stuff, but I'm trying to learn flexibility with him. And everybody does their work, and I'm working, and Nick is working, and then everybody works all day, and then we get to the point in the day when everybody's done, and the rest of the evening, I guess, is kind of normal and quieter. That's the part that's good. It's quieter at night.
Yeah,
as far as people having stuff.
I'm insulated from a lot of what they've got going on because my office is in the basement. So, they're upstairs, and she's really having to deal with the lion's share of that, but it's just kind of where the setup is. So,
what about for y'all?
For us, this is like Addison's dream come true, just to be at home with the 3 of us. Like, this part is like heaven. If you ask her anything wrong, she's like, no, this is the greatest thing on earth.
Yeah.
But she's also a lot like I am. We're both night owls. So for her, she'd rather be up till like midnight, 1 o'clock, and then get up the next morning at 9:30, 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. But she likes to get up and get her stuff done so that she can do whatever she wants for the rest of the day. So luckily she's pretty self-sufficient, and so she gets all of her assignments on Google. She can do them herself, but if she needs help, she has to go to Joseph because I've got my 40-something kids that I'm doing school with. So, but then it becomes two of them, like two more children,
Yeah.
and like teaching both of them. Like last week I was teaching 3 different fraction lessons, and I was like, oh my gosh, like none. So
I'm gonna pull out the whiteboard and teach me the math lesson first, and then I can go in and help Addison. So it's like, yeah, 2 kids learning math at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would.
Yeah, so, and then like Addison's kind of the same way. We had to be like, she wanted to get up and just do work. And I, like, we were like, great, that's fantastic, but she would rush, just to get by. So we kind of had to set the rule of, we would set the rule of get up, have breakfast, kind of get settled, then we can start work at a certain time. Just to kind of, because she'd be half awake trying to do schoolwork.
Well, Addison seems like she's
better just to kind of get up and get away.
Yeah, you guys were frozen up there for a while.
Yeah, it's been all right. And then we're trying to do a better job of knocking off time for work. I'm sorry, go ahead. Oh, I was just saying that we're also trying to knock off at a certain time because it's easy in quarantine for work to bleed into the evening now.
Yes.
Get rid of the pig.
Yeah, okay.
The guinea pig is making too much noise.
You put the guinea pig away. Yeah, it is. I mean, I noticed that yesterday, but it was just like, I looked up and it was, almost 6 o'clock and I was just doing this and doing that and there's just always something going on. So yeah, trying to break away from it. But the evenings have been nice because it's honestly, it's so chill in the evenings because we don't have anything else going on. So that's kind of that's a nice part of the day. And I mean, it's great to get the writing and the Zoom calls and all these other things done during the day, and then have that time as a family has been good. But yeah, April, I have thought a lot about you teachers during this time because I walked by, like I'll go upstairs to get lunch, and I walked by Charlotte being on a video call with her teacher and the other students, and I could hear like all the kids talking, the teacher like managing that, Charlotte asking a question. And I just thought I could do that for about 30 seconds. And then I would like throw the laptop off the deck. So I honestly, like, God bless you guys. I mean that because I know that has got, I know you guys love your students and stuff, and that part of it's awesome. But I know that the technical piece of that and the not being able to be there in the flesh is just a great challenge.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what have you guys enjoyed about this time?
I think for me, just like once the day is done, kind of the work day, or on the days obviously where we try to take our days off, just being outside, getting home projects done, kind of like the rest of America. We've just been working outside. I like to do that anyway. Quite frankly, I'd be working out in the garden and doing that kind of stuff this time of year anyway, messing with bees a little bit. I haven't done a lot, but messing with our honeybees and so I suppose that's been great. And definitely the family time. I mean, I think that's got to be true for everybody. We've had way more family time, all 5 of us, than we would normally have. So that's me. What about you?
Yeah, just having everything slower. I think we're all kind of in that balance of appreciating that, but then also missing some of the ways that life was before. But I was telling Nick, like, we played Monopoly, and I was setting up the game, and we had like a little bit of time, and the kids will ask to play Monopoly, and we'll be like, oh, Monopoly takes like forever. Let's pick a different one, And when we got it set up, I read the inside of the box, and it was saying how all the streets are named after streets in Atlantic City, and it was saying like information about the person who created it. And it sounds so silly, but like I have played Monopoly for 30 years, more than 30 years, and I never knew these things about the game. And it's because even something like a family game, you still have this like window of time, and we try to slow down, we try to have margin, but this is so unique that only in this season is there time for like just staring at the Monopoly board and learn random facts, like stuff like that all day. That's what I enjoy, is not being rushed. So
Yeah.
What about y'all?
like for us, especially this time of year, like it's so crazy at school. And then we came off of basketball season, right into volleyball season. And so just being home and getting to do, I mean, normally when I come home at night, I've got more schoolwork to do. Addison's got something to do. So it's been nice, but I mean, like, we play a lot of games. We played Monopoly, and I was like, oh, gosh, this ain't forever. But I mean, and it's kind of nice because, I mean, Addison's our only child, and so, like, some of the things, like, we've noticed about her, like, that she's maturing and things that she's starting to do more by herself. And so we're like, oh, my gosh, like, what's happening to her? But, I mean, and just doing things that, like, we did, we got Just Dance 2020, and so, like, normally just Addison and I would do that, but Joseph's gotten into it, so.
Oh, you got to send us that. You got to send us that video.
That's awesome.
Holy smokes, man. I'll pay you on the side for that, April. You just sit in the corner with your phone so he doesn't see it. I love it. We got to get that. That's awesome.
Can we do anything to bring them back? No, now we can't hear you guys.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
now I do.
Yeah.
Like, getting to see Joseph, because Joseph, he's more reserved. Like, Addison and I are way more just, we would rather laugh, have fun, do funny things.
Yeah.
And Joseph's not. So for Addison to see him doing that, like, she gets excited about that because
Spending time, I've enjoyed the slower pace of life a little bit. You know, last week or the week before they had spring break, so I know, like, it's reading. We're getting to read and sit and sit outside a little bit more and kind of just enjoy the thing. And we were like, oh, well, here's some projects that we've been wanting to do, just kind of been changed, you know, getting some house work done, not in a, oh man, crud, I gotta get this work done, but it's like, oh, we want to paint this, so this is our chance. We can paint and we can get some neat things done. And so it's been nice. I just enjoyed the slower pace of life a little bit, not constantly having this or that to do. And especially she's right now would be milestone time, so it would be like super stressful. And it's actually, I think, been great not to have that right now.
Right.
So I love to ask this, what is something that you guys are looking forward to once quarantine is over?
Definitely just honestly, like, being back with our church, you know, back with our staff. I mean, I went into the office the other day and it was so weird to be in there with, like, everybody's doors closed and the lights are out. I mean, I've been in there with the lights out before, but you know, we kind of leave our doors open. It's just a weird, like, to not go into that space every day and nearly every day. And then definitely just seeing the church and being around one another again. I think for me, that I'm definitely looking forward to that when the time is right.
Yeah, same for me. Just being back with other people, you know, I definitely realize in this time that even though that, like, rest and recharge that we're all getting is good for us, the trying to have relationships through a screen, like, we have all this technology and stuff that I know people did not have, which is a blessing. But at the same time, it's not the same as sitting down with somebody. So I will be looking forward to just being with people at my job, at our church, with friends and neighbors, and just all of that. But I know that's going to be a process.
Yeah, it's going to be, but yeah, I think so. Right?
I'm saying, like, I really miss my kids at school. Like, my kids at school they're like family, because that's what we call my class. We call it, that's our school family. And so, like, seeing them on the computer, you know, and they're sending me emails. So in a way, it's kind of like a double-edged sword, because it's really a good relationship that we have, but it's hard on them because, like, every day I'm getting, Ms. Dermer, we miss you. We miss all of our friends. Can you please get this and read it to us? does. And so that's been hard. But I also think just seeing our family, because we're so close with our family, and that's one of the reasons why we moved back up to Georgia. And so, like, not getting to see, you know, my grandfather and Joseph's parents and my parents, like, that's been, because we have to be distant because they're sick or older. So that's been hard.
Yeah, we've gone a few times to see April's grandfather in Conyers, and we basically have, you know, we've got it. He's in an assisted living place, so we have to talk to him through a window, or you know, he actually moved in there during this, so we haven't even got to see his room or, you know, sit next to him for a little bit. And even my own parents the other day, we talked to them from the car and in their house, you know, at the door. So it'd be nice to be able to see that family again, to get close to them. We just got a new a dining room table in here. It's a little bit bigger, and I told my parents, as soon as we can, we're gonna have you guys over for dinner, just to have people, you know, sitting at the house, you know. So yeah, it's the same. I think a lot of that for a lot of people is just that, you know, being connected with other people. And even someone like me who doesn't mind some isolation, it still has that sense of like, I still can't wait to see some people, you know, even so disconnected from them as much as possible. Let's talk about this for a second. How have you guys, we've talked a little bit about it, but how have you guys balanced work and school and also family time during this? Because again, like we said, some people, it would be very easy to go all day, work all day, or whatever. And we find ourselves with this really a lot of family time we haven't had before. So how are you guys balancing those kinds of things?
Well, we kind of, I guess that part is kind of more routine for us, because we pretty much, like, even when our lives are in regular time, dinner is a thing for us, that everybody sits down to dinner together. I know a lot of us do that. So no matter what other extracurriculars or whatever's going on, we try to make that happen. Nick has stuff at night a lot. The kids have stuff at night, and we try to do that. So that has been a constant through this too, that everybody has dinner together. And then we try to do something together as a family right after dinner, because that does tend to be like, the kids have done schoolwork, they've been outside, usually for the afternoon, they're outside doing stuff. Gus will play basketball, the girls will jump on the trampoline or whatever. So sometimes they might want to, like, get on FaceTime with their friends, or Gus wants to play a video game or whatever, and we don't want to just leave dinner and have them go their separate ways. So we'll do a game together, or we just started watching The Chosen, which maybe you guys told us, or someone told Nick about it. So that has been new for us, and that has been good so far. Or I make them watch CBS Sunday Morning. They don't want to watch it all at once, so we break that into pieces.
We let them have it in bite-sized chunks. Torture them slowly throughout the week.
Make them and so, yeah, so that kind of gives our day, like, the work part for all of us, and then gathering together for a meal, and then our family activity time. And then we kind of, you know, can do something separately if we want to before everybody goes to bed. So how about y'all?
You know, it's the same kind of thing, a routine. We have dinner together, trying to spend that time. In the afternoons, we try to, like I said, try to knock off at a certain time, go outside, play, you know, just trying to find those little times. And then we've been doing a lot of games or puzzles. April loves puzzles, so
Me too, April.
You guys should come do puzzles together when the quarantine lifts. Just the two of you. Don't make me do a puzzle. I don't want to do it.
She just, before we got on here, a little bit ago, she found a puzzle. She was, ooh, look at this one. It was like 52,000 pieces or something.
Well, like, they start, and then they're like, wait a second. And I get, like, almost all the way done there. They come back and, like, oh, okay, let's do the puzzle now. I'm like, I've already done all the hard work. The last pieces.
Now, I'll put the last piece in for you.
Oh, look, when you put these little last pieces in, and be like, we helped you. We totally did it.
No,
did it.
no.
But, you know, it's just finding those little fun things to do like that. And honestly, a couple of times we have just gotten in the car just to drive. Like we just drove South Atlanta for no reason, just because we wanted to see just outside of our four walls.
Yeah.
Because at first, I don't know about you guys, but at first, we didn't go anywhere except for I went and got groceries. I mean, at one point, April was like, I haven't been out of the house in like 20 days. So, just one day we were coming back from somewhere, she's like, just drive, just go somewhere. I don't care where. Just.
That's funny.
When they're frozen, are we frozen too to them?
I don't know.
You guys are frozen.
Sort of balance all that out.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. You were
We
frozen.
missed the last thing you just said.
You were frozen there for a minute, but I think we have to just.
I just trying to find that right balance of all that stuff.
Right.
I know a lot of families are still, they're trying to figure that out. I think, for us, one of the, or for Nick and I, because being men and in this time, we get so work focused or thing focused, do focused. And sometimes we tend to forget about the others in our life because we're so busy doing other things. So I would like to hear from moms, like, what is momhood like in a pandemic? Because one of the things I think you guys will always be able to say is, whenever there's been a difficult time, you're like, you know what? I was a mom during a pandemic, so I can handle it. So you guys talk to the moms out there. What's it like being a mom? What are some things that you're thinking about, or maybe you want to encourage other moms with, maybe during this time? It's a big question, but I'll give it a second to let you guys think about it.
Okay. April, do you already have an idea? You can go ahead. You don't.
Oh, look, she.
I think for me, it's like, it's okay for me to take my time away from like Joseph and Addison and have my time. So like for me, I'm up late. Like that's just for some reason after like 8, 9 o'clock, like I get a second wind. And so even during the school year though, I don't go to bed a lot of nights till 12, 12:30. That's just me. But that's my time when I'm reading my Bible. I know it gets on his nerves because I'll be in the middle of reading. I'm like, hey, wake up. I have to put, I want to answer something.
Yeah.
But it's okay to step away. Like I told one of my friends that I feel like the kids now kind of are getting to experience like growing up in the 80s, like where we all we didn't have constant attention from our parents or constant stimulation, and we all turned out fine. And so like, I feel like it's teaching our kids to be resilient. It's teaching them to be patient. It's teaching them to be creative and to like go explore, like do fun things. Like you don't have to have the TV always on or your computer always going, but it's just teaching kids like everything's going to be fine. Like we don't have to constantly be going. We don't have to constantly, family. That's what I love the most, but I also like stepping away. Like, it's okay. I don't have to be around Addison 24/7 during this time. Like she's already independent, but this is teaching her to be even more independent. Like she's going to make it. We're going to be fine. And so I think for him, it's kind of giving where dad can step in and experience, like, this is what school is like. Like, you can help. Like, it's okay. Like, you're not going to mess her up. Like, it's okay. Like, it's just, as mom doesn't have to constantly be there.
Yeah.
Which has been okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good.
That's really good.
I think that is really important, the knowing that it's okay for you to step away and have time, and I have to do the same. And, I'm working just like you are, and my kids have to be self-sufficient enough to do what they need to for school while I'm working, because they can't always come up to me and say, I need help with this. And not that I'm not going to help them, of course, but so they've had to manage a lot of that themselves. And then I guess the other piece of it is that motherhood during a pandemic, which is unusual, of course, means that I have to also recognize that my kids are in a different place right now than they normally would be emotionally as well. So I've had to kind of, when Nick and I went for a walk the other night, and I was like, what are we doing wrong? Because they were fighting like all the time. and they love each other to pieces, but they're together all the time. They are not apart at school. They are not having like time with their friends and then coming back to the nest. They are in the nest at all times. And as a counselor, I would say to another person, remember that they are not having a break from each other and they're under stress themselves, you know, that I didn't see it for myself, like with my own kids. Like I have to understand that this is stressful for them, this is hard for them, and not all kids show that by freaking out. You know, not all kids are going to cry on the floor and say, what if I get coronavirus, which is perfectly reasonable too. But for some kids, they're going to be irritable, or they're going to have a hard time getting along with their brother or sister, or they're missing people, they're missing routine, they're missing all of the things. And as their mom, my job is to try to support them and teach them. I'm not going to just let them be mean to each other, snippety with each other, but I also have to understand where they're coming from, that the way that I feel right now, they feel too, but they're younger and it looks different for them. So I don't have to think that like they're going to hate each other forever because they have the day where they fight a lot, you know, or that we're somehow not keeping them from fighting when really maybe they just have so much togetherness, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that, and again, I hope that we won't have to deal with this again in our lifetime, but it has been something where I guess what I need to take away from that as a mom is that, you know, yes, I want to shape them and disciple them, but they're not going to be perfect in the way I'm not going to be perfect. And if they have a day or a season where I'm seeing things in their character that are like, okay, we're really having a hard time today, not to jump the gun to being like, oh, we're doing something wrong, or, oh, you know, there's something. It's more than likely that they're human, just like us. And that looks different for children than it does for adults. So we have to just be a safe place to land and try to help them know how to take care of themselves in a way that honors God instead of tearing down a brother or sister. And that's our job, not to tell them, you know, to get it together so much as like to model that ourselves. Like when you're saying you have to be able to take time, I have to be able to take time so that I'm the person that I want to be as I'm parenting them. Well, they have to learn coping strategies and things like that too. And I have to not get all frazzled by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, kind of something that, you know, like you guys have been saying from a dad's perspective, I think one of the things I have to take away from this is is not only just the opportunity, but also the responsibility to, like she was saying, hop in there. Because I'm, you know, oftentimes because of the fact that she's a school teacher and because of the fact that, you know, they go to school together, it's almost like they have this own school life that's separate from me. And I just kind of walk in and kind of experience it here and there. And this has been an opportunity for me to be able to step out in there and be a part of that world and understand it better. So when we get out of this, I can be like, okay, now I understand. Like I can help more. You know, like we were saying earlier, she's having to teach me math, but that's good. Like today I sat and tried to help her with a school project she was doing, which I mean I had no clue about, but I mean that's a good learning experience for me. I need to learn to be more hands-on there, and because again, the fact that she's a teacher and they have their own school life, it's easy for me to feel like, well, you deal with it. You're at school all day long. And you can handle all that stuff. And I have to learn that, you know, this is an opportunity for me to step into places that I've never been able to step in before and learn and grow and be able to assist and help and lead in those places because she's got 40 other kids that need her attention. And so I have to be like, oh, let me go up and help this. How about you, Nick? So maybe something you can encourage a dad with?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for me, it is definitely like I can take zero credit for anything about their school. Like I have not been doing that. I'm not going to pretend like I have. That has not been a lesson for me in this. But definitely just the time with them, like still trying to be intentional about time with them. And, you know, I'm excited to continue to share this chosen thing with them because I do think it tells the story of Jesus and him calling his disciples. And I think that's going to be fun to do some more of that. I mean, we're not always consistent with our morning devos before we get out of the door because it's crazy, but we have done that as they're growing up a little bit intermittently, but we do it. This just gives us time to pour into them a little more. So that's more where I kind of see my responsibility right
Yeah.
now. Because yeah, if you had me teaching them math, they would definitely be in trouble. I mean, that would be really, really, really bad.
Yeah. I'm still learning a ruler, so
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
um, so to kind of bring all this to a close for today, I appreciate you guys hanging out. What is something that either through this time or maybe recently, maybe the last few days, whatever, that you feel like God is kind of teaching you? What is something that you just feel like God has been speaking to you about or teaching you about or whatever? We'll just
Yeah. We lost your audio there for a minute. Can you hear us? Don't we love the joys of technology?
Oh yeah.
Okay, now
we
we're
can
back.
hear you.
All right, well, I'm just going to cheat and share Psalm 112 from our year in Bible reading today. I know you've probably already read it, but because there's just been a lot of things I feel like God has been doing and speaking and saying, and you and I've talked about some of those things previously, but this one was really good today, as I'm sure y'all noticed. It says, the whole Psalm 112, praise the Lord. Blessed are those who fear the Lord, who find great delight in his commands. And then I love the piece about children, because like what I just said about trying to pour into my kids and continue to build them up spiritually, their children will be mighty in the land. The generation of the upright will be blessed. Wealth and riches are in their houses, and their righteousness endures forever. I mean, I think of that much less about a financial blessing and more about like the riches that we're all getting to pour into our kids right now from a relational and spiritual standpoint. Says, even in darkness, light dawns for the upright, for those who are gracious and compassionate and righteous. God will come to those who are generous and lend freely, who conduct their affairs with justice. Surely the righteous will never be shaken. They will be remembered forever. I'm skipping to verse 8. It says, their hearts are secure. They will have no fear. In the end, they will look in triumph on their foes. They have freely scattered their gifts to the poor. Their righteousness endures forever. Their horn will be lifted high in honor. And then the last piece of that is about the wicked, so we can leave that out for now. But I thought that there was just a lot of good stuff in that for where we are, as a society and as a family, and kind of lessons for me. That stood out to me. How about you?
I just continue to learn all the ways that I still have a lot of growing to do in being Christ-like, because I am continuously reminded of what he says about that there's no greater love than to lay down your life for a friend, and his willingness to do that, obviously. And then my own fearfulness and way of being afraid that I will get sick or someone in my family will get sick, and being really careful about that. And I think the juxtaposition of my fearful, follow the rules, make sure I stay away. And I don't want to get other people sick. So I do understand there's like a public health piece to this, of course, but I just see in myself, my sinful nature of looking out for the people who are in my home and wanting to keep everybody well, which is good. I'm entrusted as their mom. I'm supposed to do that. But at the same time, Jesus would be with the lepers. He was not like, well, social distance from the lepers, or I just see myself and how I'm growing and still have a lot more growing to do. And that's that whole work, that whole process of being sanctified. I have a long way to go, because I need to see that in myself, all the ways that I'm not like him. I'm striving to be like him, but this is a time where he's shown me well, you still, that love that you have for other people, it has a lot more growing to do. You have a long road ahead, sister. So even with our foster baby and her little brother, we love them so much, and we had to weigh, do we have them at the house? Do we not have them at the house? Because all the people that they've been with, when we bring them to the house, we've now been with those people, or we're sending things with them. And So all of those things, and then going to kids' houses and all, it's just been a lot of the Lord being like, you got a long way to go, sis. That's
I think for me, it's just too, I was thinking about, just this time lets you have new perspective on things maybe you've always seen, and being able to see things in a new way, whether it's the scriptures or whether it's just your own walk or whether it's your family, and just trying to be open to whatever God is teaching or showing, and being more mindful. I think for me, just being more mindful of, just trying to see things from God's perspective, kind of like you were saying a little bit. But also just trying to make sure that am listening to that, and not get stuck in my own sort of, well, this is how I think it should always be done, or this is how my life is always should be, and just, okay, God, what is a new way to look at something or experience something, and being open to that. And maybe that is just the practical things of dancing like an idiot for some video game, but again, being open to that. I mean, okay, this is just an opportunity for me to experience the Lord and things in a new way. So, what about you, hon?
I think for me,
No, I can't hear. Can you guys hear me? We can't hear you. I want to hear what you're saying.
I think for me right now, it has to do with teaching me that not to worry, and that even so, that whatever happens in the pandemic, with my grandfather, with my dad, God is still good, and he still has this. And so as long as I rely on him and our family relies on him, everything's going to be okay. Like, it may not be what our heart desires, but it's always what God wants. And so we have to reassure ourselves that through all of this, that God's still in control and he's going to take care of it. And so for us, like, I'm not as much of a worrier. I just think about things, and Joseph's the worrier. Like, he worries about things all the time. So I kind of have to be the person that's like, okay, there's nothing we can do about this. This is out of our hands. God's going to take care of it. So I have to be the one to remind of that. But I think this is just remembering that God's got this, and there's always something to be thankful for. Always. I mean, this could be way worse. We could be in a lot worse situation. I mean, we're very fortunate that we have our jobs, that we've got even just the technology to talk to people, but there's always something to be thankful for. Mm-hmm. And so even as we're shut up in our house, like for me, I've loved this time just being just the three of us, but that's just our personality. Like, we've been so used to it just being the three of us, but just to be able to have this time, like now it's almost like I don't want it to be taken away.
Right.
You know, like, it's great. So I think it's just being thankful, and that no matter what, God's still good.
Right.
God's still good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Absolutely.
That's a great way to go out. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Thank you for spending your time with both April and I. And
thank you.
And as always, for our church family, if you want to know about everything that's going on, make sure you go to Galilee.org to get all the info of everything that's happening. As always, you can also check our church's Facebook page for everything that's happening there. You can always check out, Nick has got his quarantine time Mondays and Wednesdays. You can follow him. Be sure to check those out. I'm also leading a new study Thursday night. We're going to start studying the I am statements of Jesus and John. So those are other ways for you to get plugged in, church. And as always, we've got our services online 9 a.m. and 11, and then our drive-in service at 11 a.m. So be sure to check out those things. And we thank you, everybody, our church family, and anybody else that may be watching, spending time with us today. Hopefully you've been encouraged, and we love you, and we can't wait to see you again. Thanks a lot for hanging out with us.
Enjoy, guys. Good seeing y'all.